Hello people, I'm back with a recording today. It's probably my first recording really in over a week. So yeah, I just thought I'd come on today and talk shit really. There's been a lot of shifts just lately, a lot of changes of energy. If I'm being honest, the shifts have been really quite plentiful and the energies are changing quite a lot. So for me, it's been a bit of a roller coaster, up and down, up and down. I wouldn't say that I'm having mood swings or anything like that, but it's been really quite challenging. And some of my shifts that I've experienced have been, early hours of the morning. I've woken up and my ears have been buzzing. My body temperature has risen, and it's just been really, really challenging. I'm not going to really talk about some of the shifts that I've had really. I think they're really quite personal and people need to be really quite choosy what they talk about in terms of their own personal shifts. So maybe that's a bit of a warning really, because if you start talking about your shifts personally and you've got some family member or somebody who is on your tail and wanting you to stay where you are, then you're just giving them evidence. So please be mindful what you say on social media. I suppose for me, just lately, over the past probably going on 2 months now really, I don't know whether you would call it isolation or solitude really. Both of them, it's about somebody spending a lot of time on their own, and that's me just recently. And I'm usually quite a sociable creature, but yeah, just lately it's been really quite lonesome. Just me and my dog, really. So yeah, I'm not sure how long I'm going to be in this solitude for, but to be quite honest with you, I want to change my life a little bit really. I want a little bit excitement. I want some people in my life, but that's why for me where I am now that's really quite difficult, because it can be quite dangerous really if you just open yourself to people or open your home to somebody. It's just not done really in the area where I live. So yeah, I'm not going to do that, to be fair. So yeah, so I'm feeling really quite lonely. Yeah, although I go out and do my shopping and stuff like that, it's just boring, really boring. I haven't had any since my last shift, where there was a lot of feeling about my family really, and I've not really heard from them now in quite some time, and it's quite funny when you're going through. It's not funny really, but that's the same when you're going through the awakening process and it touches on your family and how some of the things that happen during your awakening process that has happened between you and family members. It's like it makes you really hold on to what you've actually got in terms of maybe your memories about your family before things started to go really quite awry really for me. It went really awry and it's not really recovered, and I don't see at this point in time that anything that had happened between me and my family was really down to me. I mean, I've always been quite supportive to my family, and for whatever reason my family decided to treat me the way they have. I don't see that it's my duty to try and pull things back. I'm just going to let them stay as they are really. And and I'm sure that as the people that have an association to the awakening process may or may not be, I suppose, be going through the same thing, really. But yeah, that's family, really. But in terms of my family, it's like, it's definitely a learning process, how I used to be to how I am now. What does family mean to me now? I don't even know what family means to me now, to be quite honest with you, because of my experience with my family. At this moment in time, I don't see myself as having a family. And is that detrimental to me? Or is that more detrimental for them, for what they have actually done to me? But certainly, I don't feel the same about my family as I did, I don't know, 2 months ago, 3 months ago. I mean, I was always on the phone to them, all the rest of it. Now, there's no communication at all. But however, although on Facebook, they're all communicating with each other, but I'm not included. Is anybody else out there finding the same thing? Yeah, so my family, not really there anymore, to be fair. I'm going to read this out, really, because I had a funny experience. I went to the beach on Sunday, just to get out of my normal routine, really, and I spent a couple of hours. I was on my own. I spent a couple of hours at the beach, and I was listening to music, and I was just in my own mind, really looking out to sea, and the sea air, and the sand, and the little crabs that run along the sand. It's sometimes when you're on your own, you can actually really tune in to nature and see what's actually going on in front of your face, where normally you would just completely miss it. But yeah, on Sunday it was I spent a couple of hours in the sea, and then anyway, on the way home, I'd sort of clicked onto social media, and I was listening to some of the things that I would normally listen to, and I was driving along and listening to this recording, and all of a sudden it started to say, like, open. It was talking about me in terms of, I know it sounds a bit weird, but this is true. We've been trying to contact you for quite some time, and although we've been trying to contact you, we've sent you quite a few things, and you keep ignoring them. And they're saying it's about time that you started to be obedient in terms of what is requested of you. And then it started to say, open it now. Don't be, be obedient. And I was like, what the frig is this going on here? So I clicked it off, and it made me feel a bit funny, to be quite honest with you. And when I got home, I started listening to it again, and it got really quite weird, to be honest with you. And it's one of these things that you get off social media. And I've always said to people in my recordings, please use your discernment in terms of what you're listening to. But this recording that I was actually listening to got really quite threatening, and saying that it was going to, or these people were going to come to my house, and how what was going to happen to me was not of this earth. People, I really think that I and you need to be careful about what we are picking up off social media, because I think that things are starting to get really quite serious in terms of spiritual warfare and demonic things that are going around the planet, I'm going to say. So, but this recording was really quite weird, to the fact I shared the recording with one of my neighbours, who is quite a hardened churchgoer, and him and his wife are really quite concerned about me and what I'm listening to. And although I'm okay, I understand what they're actually talking about, but it's not the fact of what I'm actually listening to, because I'm really quite strong with myself. But it's all the vulnerable people out there that are listening to stuff like that really can take it really quite serious. So again, people, you know, be careful about what you're watching out there. Be careful about your emotional health, because going through this process isn't easy, and particularly when, you know, like me, I'm a social creature. I've not had any real contact with, besides when I go shopping or, you know, bits and bobs around the community. I've not really had any contact or any real decent conversations, really. I'm just me in my own mind. So yeah, please be careful. Yeah, please be careful. In terms of spiritual warfare, I haven't experienced that much just lately. Although I keep monitoring my thoughts and stuff, you know, I've been really quite free from that over the last maybe week or so. I'm going to read this declaration, really, because this channel has been created because of my experiences, and you know, I really want to keep it up in terms of my experiences, really, because I know that I'm not on my own out there, and I know that there's other people experiencing the awakening process. And for me, it's just to say that I am sound, and my experiences are going to be expressed on this channel. So I've put here, I declare what I am about to discuss is the whole truth, nothing but the truth, according to me, God Almighty, who guides my forward movements. And I've always said to people on this channel, if you can't accept that I am guided by the Almighty, then you're quite welcome to move on. It's as simple as that, to be honest with you. And that is my stance, really. And before I go any further, what this channel is about. This channel is supported by God based on my experience of witchcraft and the awakening process over time, past and present. The practice of witchcraft is real and affects many people's lives negatively within this timeline. I am calling these entities out into the open to express their actions towards the vulnerable, the innocent, and those unaware of their actions. These people, spirits of deception and envy, behaviour are of old. Support is offered to entities who rebuke the dark, wanted to return to the light. God continues his protection of the chosen ones and individuals of the light who visit this channel to express themselves and to receive support. And this is what this channel is for me, and this is for me is when I first started to experience the awakening process and witchcraft. I was concerned, particularly in terms of the witchcraft, really, and how it affected me and the people that I came across that were demonic in some sort of way, and how evil these people are. I am still concerned about, you know, the amount of witchcraft that is being practiced in the area where I reside. But on a bigger scale, this is going to be on a global level, particularly in the age that we are now, in the times that we are now. People can't be neglectful of their own safety. And in terms of monitoring your own thoughts, and I know it can be difficult, and I know that, you know, we all get busy and stuff like that. So, you know, to say that people are going to say that they're going to monitor their own thoughts regularly is probably a bit of a tall order. But I'm going to assure you that the time when you are affected by spiritual warfare, and it is on the increase, that's the time when you think, oh my God, I should have taken that advice. But, you know, we all have free will. But I can assure you, to experience spiritual warfare is not easy. It's not a joke. and it can knock you for six, and it has knocked me for six on quite a few occasions, really. So I wanted to talk also a little bit about how we are today, really. I mean, we are all individuals, we're all like quite independent, but when we look at what we do in terms of, you know, who you are, what you do for a career, you might be a mother, you might be a father, you know, as well as what you do at work. And then you've got the awakening process. And if you're experiencing something with the awakening process, that means that you have some association with the Almighty. Now, I've been thinking about this just lately, and how going through this awakening process has opened my eyes to religion, but not also to religion, but also to demonic entities, people of low density. You know, and I'm thinking, how many things do we actually identify to, and which takes us away from our actual core of self? You know, and I was thinking about some of the things that I was identifying to before I retired, and you know, I actually determined myself that I was probably my own core self, maybe at 15% out of 100%. When you start thinking about how many sort of things that you identify to, and that is really quite low. So, and also when we get into a relationship, we tend to give our all to that relationship, and we don't keep that much back for ourselves, which means that then we're also quite vulnerable in that effects. Also, I did a recording some time ago, and it was about unconditional love, and it's all about unconditional love of yourself. Now, I have actually taken that really quite serious for myself, and I feel a lot better for actually concentrating on myself. I mean, it's a lot easier for me these days because I'm retired, and so I'm probably saying I understand if you haven't practiced unconditional love of yourself. But if I'm being honest with you, even if you are in a relationship or you are married, you know, you're still yourself. You're still your core self. So you still need to be giving yourself that attention, and unconditional love is the way to go. So when you look at about all the things that you identify to, and the things that, you know, come into your life, even God, we have to look at ourselves in that way, because, you know, all the things that attract us, all the noise, all the distractions that come into our lives, you know, no wonder we're all mixed up. No wonder, you know, there's so many fights, and no wonder people, particularly young people, are the way they are, because there's no time for self. And that is the most important thing ever, is to have time for yourself. If you don't have time for yourself, then you're just going to wander in your mind. You're all over the place. And I can't now, since I've been giving myself that time, unconditional love, I don't think I can actually go back to how I was. And that was not thinking about myself, giving myself to anybody who would accept me. And I was just, you know, I wasn't doing anything wrong. I wasn't harmful to anybody or anything like that. I was just like, you know, easily led, I suppose. Easily led. Which is quite dangerous when you think about it. Yeah, really quite dangerous. So, people, you know, yes, there has been quite a lot of shifts, and yes, it has knocked me for six, to be quite honest with you, which is probably why I haven't done a recording for over a week. You know, so it talked about demonic entities and how they can affect you. You might be even in a relationship with like a toxic relationship. Unconditional love is the way to go. Practice unconditional love and take back some of that power to yourself that you've given to somebody else who is then not treating you very well. Yeah, that was something that that raised my temperature when I was married. I'd realised that I'd given all my power away and I was just being used and abused. And when you actually come to that realisation, it's not very nice either. It's not very nice. I mean, I was like, I'd become a stranger in my own home. Absolute stranger in my own home. Now, yeah, I suppose people, because I hadn't made a recording for over a week, I thought I'd just come back and, you know, just say hi, really. So please look after yourself. I'm not going to stay around. Please look after yourself, and unconditional love is the way to go. I can assure you. On the basis of that, I shall be back with another recording pretty soon. Take care.